Hello, this is Bill Zoller with the Wellness Warriors Ministry, and today we want to talk a bit about the link between certain cancers and the consumption of poultry. One of the most accepted and talked about issues in aging has to do with the decline of our immune system. As a matter of fact, someone has labeled this as inflammaging, a chronic low-grade inflammation that we now know sets people up for physical decline and sets them up for more bacterial infection, more viral infections, pneumonia, the flu, cancers, heart disease, and other conditions. One of the most elaborate research studies is called the EPIC study, EPIC, which stands for the European Prospective Investigation into Cancer and Nutrition. It is the largest forward-looking study on diet and cancer in human history. They studied 500,000 people for over 10 years. So they looked at a variety of groups of people consuming different foods. What they found is that there was a greater risk, depending on what you ate, for lymphomas and myeloma. They found that meat itself may be the culprit, potentially due to mutagenic compounds or viruses in meat. But it raises the question of what kind of meat? Well, I just wanted to comment about mutagenic. What a word, huh? In genetics, this means a physical or chemical agent that changes our genetic material, most often changes our DNA, and sets us up for disease as a result. Well, what type of meat was the worst? They looked at all kinds of meat: red meat, beef, pork, processed meat like bacon and ham and sausage. They looked at poultry, including chicken and turkey. They also looked at eggs and dairy products. It's fascinating. As it turned out, poultry consumption was associated with a significant increase in the risk of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, all grades of follicular lymphoma, beta cell lymphomas in general, including beta cell chronic lymphatic leukemia. That includes small lymphocytic leukemia and pro-lymphocytic leukemia. So they found up to triple the rates of risk for every 50 grams of daily poultry consumed. A cooked chicken breast averages about 220 grams, so that's just a quarter of a chicken breast worth of poultry. So what can we do to prevent this very strong association between these cancers and the consumption of poultry? What we eat, our food consumption, is probably the most modifiable, or we could say pliable, tool that we have to change our rate of aging. The dietary patterns associated with inflammation was almost all meat-based, or so-called the standard American diet, or now the Western diet, while vegetables and fruit-based foods or a healthy pattern tended to be inversely associated with this aging problem, meaning the more plant-based we eat, the less inflammation we have and the less disease that we are vulnerable to. So I hope that these thoughts today are useful to you, and that we can maybe make some real life application and be very, very cautious about our poultry consumption, given that we are eating more and more and more chicken in the Western world, and we have more and more disease. Thank you for being with us today.